Thank you. Coming from technical sciences, I usually like to use an example from physics when talking about mobility. If you want to have a physical property move from one side of a fluid to another, you can use two different physical processes. One is conduction, in which particles of fluid are communicating to its neighbors and slowly transferring a new physical property from one side to another. And another one is convection, in which case moving particles are taking the new properties with them. If we want to translate it into a simpler language, think of a hot soup on your table. If you let it cool down, it will take maybe 15 minutes to cool down slowly by conduction. But we all know since we were children that if you take a spoon and stir it, you will be able to eat it very quickly. It will cool down very quickly. In this way, mobility is a mechanism in which we can change European research area very quickly if it were really working properly. I had the luck of being appointed a coordinator of Euraxess mobility network in Croatia in the time when Croatia was negotiating to enter European Union. I hope you will all ratify the accession treaty in the next year, and we are going to become a 20th member in 2013. This luck was that I was also given a mandate to change anything that was an obstacle for mobility, and in 3 years' time we were quite successful in that. Croatia was previously a very close country to foreign researchers. We managed to reduce the time for obtaining a working permit for researchers or a residence permit from 9 months average to 3 weeks. That has resulted in a 10 times increase of incoming foreign researchers. It has also resulted in maybe not only that measure but other things also, in maybe 10 times more European projects coming to Croatia. It has also resulted in many more papers being published in research productivity, which went up threefold in the last 10 years. So it was so much positive result in Croatia that even the new government talks about mobility immediately from the start. They didn't even get into the whole policy issues, they mentioned mobility. It had good results on Croatian research community. One has to have an experience of a researcher in order to have a better idea which barriers to mobility are hurting more and which are hurting less. Of course, all these barriers like opening a bank account or finding an apartment in a language where you don't understand a word, like Estonian, for example, but you can still use Google Translate. Are minor problems compared to the career opportunity. You know, if there is a career opportunity in your position you are taking, then you are ready to sacrifice all these terrible things and find your way in a new country. But if there is no career opportunity later on in front of you, then the things are not so bright. So I would say that this is a major issue, major barrier is to open research places to more competition. And that was clearly said by the Commissioner this morning, that most of European academia is a closed shop. So it's very difficult for young researchers to expect entering it if the positions are given in hereditary way sometimes. In my opinion, personal opinion as a researcher and somebody who was working on setting up Euraxess and on helping foreign researchers to come to Croatia and removing obstacles and talking to researchers who didn't want the obstacles to be removed because they have their daughters and sons, etc., they want to employ in their positions. These issues can hardly be solved on a national level because they would have already been solved many years ago. Or in those countries in which they were solved because there was a reason to solve them. So we need a certain European level in order to solve them in other countries. Thank you.